So this past week, I recorded a podcast episode with a good friend of mine, Jake Smith Jr., who runs an organization called Plumline. Essentially teaches you how to build better relationships with those that you love. And I'm really excited for this episode specifically because he's going to give you tools on how to do this, not only in your relationships with other adults, but like relationships with your kids. I was thinking about editing part of it out because I was talking through and processing some stuff with him about my relationship with our kids, and I decided to keep it in there. And here's why. I say there's no such thing as a perfect parent, and here you get to see me processing through and understanding a blind spot that I had that Jake helped me see, and I no longer have that, and I'm able to work in and through that, and I'm able to reassure my kids that I forgive them and that they're safe. So I hope that you enjoy it, share it with those that you would find helpful, and we'll see you in the episode. I would love to hear from you on the skill of attunement in a family setting, if possible. Like the ways that you failed in that, the ways that you found it works, because it's going to be like you talk about clumsy Ned, right? Clumsy Ned is a skill that we work on with ourselves, but then how does that translate into the automatic community that we're given with the family, the people that we share a roof with, that we share a table with? So and I know that like some of the attunement stuff is like opt-in, right? Like if your spouse isn't ready to do it, like you don't do it. And so there's a part of that that I think is modeling an example from mom and dad, but then also like, how do we coach our kids in attunement? How much of that is appropriate? And in a way of like, well, their frontal cortex is not fully developed, right? And so we can't expect the things in that type of an attuning environment that we can in an adult environment. But what are the kind of the places where we can?
Yeah. Well, we can start by just defining what attunement is, So attunement is the pinnacle, the goal, the peak of all healthy, connected, lasting relationships. And that attunement is a phrase by, Christian psychologist Dan Allender. And it's what he essentially calls emotional attachment. So you hear about attachment theory from John Bowlby, okay? And emotional attachment. Allender just calls that attunement. And here's what attunement is. It is the critical dynamic that will make or break your relationship with your kids. And incidentally, make or break your relationship with your spouse, incidentally, make or break your relationship with the deep friendships that you choose. Attunement, if it's there, will promote these deeply connected, healthy, lasting relationships. And if it's missing, will cause the relationship to die or at least go to sleep. Okay, so attunement's everything. The bottom line. Here's what attunement is. People are going crazy. Tell me what it is. Okay, here's what attunement is. Attunement is, I see you. I'm willing to feel with you. I'm willing to suffer alongside of you. And I delight in you. That's attunement. I see you. I feel with you. I'm willing to suffer with you. And I delight in you. The Christian psychiatrist, Kurt Thompson, says, we are all born looking for someone looking for us. We're born craving attunement. And we have that ache, that's still inside of us present day. Does anyone see me? Is anyone willing to feel with me, to suffer alongside me, and to delight in me? Whether we're connected to that consciously or it's slipped into the shadows of our motivation and our drive.
Right.
We all want that. And that is what your kids need to not only stay connected to you, not only to ensure you have a relationship with them when you're old and they are potentially no longer interested because they're now living their own life. No, if you show attunement in childhood years, you will ensure they're still desiring you, seeking you out, wanting to be connected, wanting you in their life, when you're old. Okay. Not only that, but attunement is the thing that will ensure they are well adjusted, healthy, grounded humans at large in the world. They have everything they need to face life in all of its fullness if you are able to offer them attunement as a father, as a mother. Okay. Have I convinced you yet? Attunement is everything. It's everything, right? All right. So the peak of all healthy, lasting relationships is attunement. And if you picture a triangle as the structure of these healthy, lasting relationships, the bottom points of that structure of healthy, lasting relationships, the peak of which is attunement, are containment and repair. Okay. Containment is you don't have to be perfect with me. You don't have to always get it right with me. You don't have to, you can trip, you can step out of bounds, you can lose yardage on the play. You can but there's a playing field here called containment where you can practice with me, and I'm going to practice with you. And it's okay if you blow it or you do it wrong or whatever. And then repair is not if, but when we step on each other's toes, we bump into one another, we fall flat on our face. I'm willing to circle back and do that repair work. And that has to be very specific. Even as me as a father, when I blow it, when I rage at you in Walmart, when I ignore you, I dismiss you, because I don't have the energy. I dismiss you, disappear into my project or into my book or scrolling on my phone or working 70 hours a week. And I wasn't there when you woke up and I wasn't there when you went to sleep, whatever. I'm willing to do the repair work. And that's got to be specific. It looks like this. I know when I said or did this thing, it did damage to you and it did damage to us. And I'm sorry. Will you forgive? Okay.
Yeah.
Attunement, containment, repair is the structure of healthy fathering and all healthy, lasting relationships. Okay. How do we do that within us?
Yeah.
I'm going to have to lean into the discomfort of something I've been taught. If I'm normal, if I grew up in a typical way, I've got to lean into the discomfort of recovering something that I was taught to bury a long time ago. And that's my own part.
Yeah.
I've got to work to offer myself as a full grown man. I've got to lean into the discomfort of offering myself something I was taught not to offer myself a long time ago. I've got to learn to see me, like I see myself. I'm willing to feel what's mine to feel and care about it, be curious about it, not shame myself for it, not tell myself to suck it up or to power through or to be more reasonable. That's what happened to us as kids, right? Like if we're normal and you were having big feelings as a kid, you're probably sent to your room and not allowed to come out until what?
You have it all together, man. Get it together.
Stop crying. You can have a reasonable conversation, whatever it is, you calm down. And the subtle message that we as men got as children, perhaps unintended, perhaps not, but the subtle message we got is what's going to qualify me to be in the family. Like what's going to qualify me to be in the relationship is I can't be having feelings.
Yeah.
And we carry that operating system with us. It's like somehow we're taught that having feelings is immature, or to
Mm-hmm.
turn to someone and emotionally express and to look to be comforted, or to ask for help and regulation, somehow that's childish or that's immature. That's biologically untrue. It
Mm-hmm.
takes 60% more glucose to my brain, it takes 60% more fuel, brain fuel,
Mm-hmm.
to talk myself off the ledge than it does to turn to somebody, even as a
Mm-hmm.
grown man. Right. And so we kind of ignore our makeup, our natural makeup, and go, well, this thing that is so in me to be seen by somebody, to be felt with by somebody, to be suffered alongside, to be delighted in. I have to somehow deny this natural biological longing and tendency because I've been taught that's not what a man is.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, how do you do it? How do you offer your kids attunement and containment and repair? You've got to tear up the psychological contract you signed a long time ago to tuck away all your feelings, to ignore them, to bury them deep, to choose powering through or being more reasonable. You've got to tear up that contract psychologically that you signed a long time ago, that this is how I have to be. And you've got to become willing to go, when I'm having feelings, which, by the way, are these physically uncomfortable sensations in your body. You do actually physically feel them. That's why we don't like it, because they're uncomfortable. It's the pit in my stomach. It's the burn in my sternum. It's the tight chest. It's the constricted breathing. It's the disoriented sensation in my head. Like, these are feelings, right?
Mm-hmm.
What it means to offer myself attunement is, when they show up, not to pour another glass of bourbon, not to go work longer and harder hours, not to pull out my phone and start scrolling on it, not to get rid of the human beings that I point to and go, well, you're the things that are causing these uncomfortable stuff to rise in me. So let me send you off to watch TV or play video games or go to your room, so that because I'm identifying you're the cause or the source of my feelings, and if I can get rid of you, I can get rid of them. Or if I can fix you or make you feel better, and help you to stop having feelings, then I can stop having them. This is the stuff that I do, right?
Yeah.
I've got to start being open to have those feelings, and I've got to watch this. Here's the manly part. I've got to grow my tolerance to bear the weight of my feelings when they're true inside of me, rather than drinking them away or working them away or trying to be so driven I stay ahead of them or something because they're too much for me. I've got to build the muscles of bearing the heaviness and the weight of my own feelings. And those muscles can grow. And the way that process works is, when you know you're having feelings, you're starting to notice that you're getting heightened. You're feeling those things in your body. Can I name it? That's what clumsy Ned that you mentioned at the start of this is. Clumsy because heart work's clumsy. If you ain't willing to do it imperfectly and to be clumsy and to get it wrong and to blow it, something like, you're not ready to do heart work. You got to be willing to be clumsy. But Ned stands for name, explore, and decide. So attuning with myself is, when I notice it's going on inside of me, can I name what that feeling is? What is this pit in my stomach or the burn in my sternum? Oh, maybe that's fear, right? What is this tightness in my chest or this constricted breathing? Oh, maybe I feel lonely with my wife or with my friends. What is this disoriented feeling, or the tight muscles around my eyes and around my ears? Like, what is that? I'm all tense. Oh, maybe that's my shame, and I'm being met with my limitation. That's what all shame is, right? I'm being faced with my human limitations and growth edges, and now I feel like, so can I name, is clumsy Ned, can I name the feeling when I'm feeling that physical sensation in my body? What is that, right? Become curious about it. Kurt Thompson says curiosity is loving. What is that in me? Can I name it? And then the E is explore. It's like, all right, well, what's that about for me? That's the explore. Once I've named it, oh, what is that pit or that burn in my sternum? Oh, that's my fear. Well, what's my fear about? Fear is like this sense that I'm at risk of being harmed, or someone I love is at risk of being harmed, emotionally, mentally, physically, spiritually. And that doesn't have to be rational. It's just something that's, it's like feelings are true or not true. They're not right or wrong. So it's like
Mm-hmm.
when fear is true in me, it's like, well, what's that pressing on in me? Like, how do I sense I or someone I love is at risk of being harmed, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And,
Yeah.
and I start to explore that in me. And then the D is decide. Once I've named it and I've explored what it's about, the idea is I can be intentional about moving through this feeling or letting it pass through me. I just open myself to let that pass through me, and I decide what to do with it. I decide, well, what do I
Mm-hmm.
need? For example, my heart is afraid. I sense I or someone I love is at risk of being harmed. Okay, what does my heart need in this moment?
Mm-hmm.
I need do I need some kind of protection? Do I need help from somebody? Do I need a refuge where I don't have to be alone in it? I can show up and I can talk out loud in a place that's safe and I'm not going to be shamed or fixed or just convinced to feel better or like I'm off base, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And now I can be intentional about getting that need met in a healthy way.
Yeah.
That is what clumsy net is. That's what attuning with myself means. And here's why that matters in my fathering. Whatever I do to me, I will do to you.
Yeah.
So if I'm telling myself when I'm having these feelings to suck it up, get over it,
Yeah.
pull
Mm-hmm.
myself up on my bootstraps. If I'm saying to myself, grow up, be more reasonable and rational, you know, that's what I'm going to do to you. I'm going to
Mm-hmm.
tell you to suck it up. I'm going to tell you to get over it. I'm going to tell you to be more rational and reasonable, you know. But if I'm working to see myself and like, wow, look at all that. Look how big, whatever that is in me. Can I name it? I'm curious. I care. What is that going
Mm-hmm.
on in me? I'm willing to explore it. Well, what's that about for me? I'm willing to identify what I need and decide what to do with it. Well, what do I need? And how do I get that need met in a healthy way? If I'm doing that for me, I'll do that for you too.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, what are you
Mm-hmm.
feeling right now, pal? I'll say to my son, what are you feeling right now, buddy? And, what's that about for you?
Mm-hmm.
And what do you need? And how can I help you get your need met in a healthy way?
Mm-hmm.
Because you're right. The kids don't have the frontal lobe, which is the reasonable, rational part of the brain. They're not going to have it, by the way, until they're in their early to mid 20s.
Yeah.
And so, you know what that means? It just means my kids need mine.
Mm,
They got to borrow mine.
yeah.
I am their frontal lobe. And so when
Mm-hmm.
I'm doing that with them, when I'm working to see them and feel with them and help them decide, what they need and how they get that need met in a healthy way, they literally
Mm-hmm.
cannot do that on their own. They need me to do that for them. And that's part of what attuning as a dad to your kids mean.
Yeah.
You need me to help you regulate. Like
Yeah.
you're torturing your child if you send them off to regulate on their own. They can't.
Right. Right.
Cannot. They need your frontal lobe to help them do it. So that your presence is actually what they need when they're heightened, and they need you to lean in and go, "What are you feeling, buddy?" Or help them bring that charge down, and then explore with them. Like, "What are you feeling, buddy?
Mm-hmm.
What's that about for you? What do you need? Dad's here," and you become that stable place that they can lean on.
Yeah. No, that's beautiful. I love it. And I think if I'm kind of understanding my clients and just kind of human nature, it's probably easier to like, oh, I can do that with my kids. I'm just gonna cross it off the list and like, oh, I'll show up. What do you need and how does this? But like to actually do it with yourself takes more courage and more like intentionality because I mean, like you're saying, it's clumsy, right? Like I've never done this before. I've been totally trained on how to do it differently. And so now that I'm having to like do it with myself, it's awkward, maybe a little bit like exposing, right? Like you feel naked. You feel like, wait, I've been covering all this up for so long. And now to like take off the cloak feels so like scary and exposing, and I was told I can't be scared if I'm a man, right? Like fear is not something I'm able to talk about or experience. I got to be brave, instead of like, would you say that like courage would be a necessary choice to move into that as you're attuning with yourself?
Yeah. So I obviously incorporate all this into my parenting, and look at those guys. I incorporate all this into my parenting, and so I'm working to attune with my kids. I'm exploring what they feel, and it's part of the culture of our home now. So the other day, my 16-year-old son, I got an 18-year-old boy, a 16-year-old boy, and a 13-year-old little girl. My 16-year-old was going to his first day at work. He had gotten a job. He was going to his first day at work, and he said, I said, "How you feeling? Going into this first day of work?" And he said, "I got a little fear in me, Dad. Like, this is scary. I haven't done this. Am I going to succeed? Am I going to fail? Am I going to be able to learn what's mine to learn? Am I going to be able to do what they want me to do? I'm scared. I got some fear, And I helped join him in that moment. And I said, yeah, that makes sense. It is scary stepping into the mystery of trying something that you've never done before, not knowing if you've got what it takes. Like that's super scary. And we were able to get to a point where he just said, all right, well, connected to how scary this is for me and what I need, like this refuge that he just got with Dad, like me normalizing that fear and going, yeah, that makes sense. He went outside, got in his truck, and drove to try, right? That's called courage.
Yeah.
And what you have to understand about fear is consider this. What does courage feel like? Like when you are experiencing courage, what does that feel like? Is it an absence of fear? I mean, I think absence of fear is called something else.
Yeah.
Denial. Like, I'm not going to see, like, denial is a 3-step process. See, feel, deal. That's from my mentor, Jeff Schulte. It works like this. I'm not going to see what I see, so I don't have to feel what I'm going to feel about it, so I don't have to deal with it. And in some kind of weird, denying, mindless way, I just plunge or something, or withdraw and retreat and not connected at all while I'm doing what I'm doing. Courage feels like I can name the fear, I can name how I'm at risk of being harmed, and then I go, and I step into it. That's what courage feels like.
Yeah.
Moving through my fear, and I'm going to do what I can with what I've got, and I'm going to surrender the outcome, and then I'll be able to handle whatever happens.
Yeah.
Welcome to courage. That's what a man does. That's what a man does.
Yeah. Yeah.
By the way, any man who says men aren't supposed to feel fear or whatever, like Jesus was the manliest man that ever lived, and he felt fear at a level I will never know because I've never sweat blood.
Right.
He did. I've never been that scared.
Yeah.
And he stepped in.
That scared and still stepping into it. Right.
That courage.
Yeah. Man, that's good. It's good. I think along the lines of, the triangle with attunement, containment, and repair. One of the things I talk to my clients about is helping them examine the expectations that they have on their employees or people they're training or managing, and the expectations they have on their children. Right? It's like at work, when you're training someone, you're super patient and you're like, hey, it's okay, try it, and let's go, and we're going to be here for you, we're going to coach you along the way, and like when you succeed, it's going to be awesome. And yet I hear so many dads over and over and over say to their kids, how many times do I have to tell you? So we have this level of expectation that's like, almost inverse, where we have the adult level expectation we're placing on our kids and the childish expectation on these adults that we're training in a job. And I hear that idea of containment, meaning we're here to practice and to fail, and it's safe.
That's right.
Right. So like
That's the containment part. You're right.
Yeah, like removing that expectation on your kids to be like, I don't care how many times you have to tell your kids something, because all you're looking for is compliance and behavior modification instead of helping them understand, like, this is how we do this in our home, and here's why. And I'll
Yeah.
keep telling you and keep encouraging you and keep helping you along the way, because I know you're not going to get it right the first 50 times.
Mm-hmm.
When you mow the lawn for the first time, I'm not going to jump down your throat when you like are out of line and there's big 6-inch strips that are higher than the other. But I'm going to get down on the level with you and say, do you see that? Do you see, like, there's some spots that you missed? It's okay. I'll take care of them. But next time, let's work hard to like look for those, you know? I think the repair thing probably is a little bit of a harder challenge um, because we want to move through that hurt quickly. Like the other day, I was having a conversation with my oldest, and we are working really hard with him on owning this stuff. And like, when you make a mistake, let's own it, take responsibility for it, and if you need to apologize, you apologize. And when we make a mistake and do that same thing with him, we'll apologize specifically, kind of like what you mentioned. But we also have given him space to not have to forgive us right then. Like if you're hurt and angry, sad about all of this, as much as it's hard to like for me to wait to have that resolution, you take whatever time you need to forgive me, because I know that I hurt you. And there's a cost to my hurting you. And so I'm okay with you not forgiving me right away.
Yeah.
And on the flip side, when he hurt me, and he apologized, he was feeling that tension. Dad, when are you gonna say I forgive you?
Mm-hmm.
And I said, buddy, I'm not ready yet.
Yeah.
And I know that's hard, and I'm sad. I have sadness for that too. But the hurt is running really deep, and I need some space before I'm able to say I forgive you. I will forgive you. I promise that will come, and I will not hold a grudge. But right now, it is so deep and in my body, I need to say not yet.
Yeah.
And I think that like the permission that we give to have patience with each other is a gift, but it's also a skill that we have to hone.
Yeah, I think on that repair side of things, you know, forgiveness does require process and intentionality, and I'm mainly talking about from the when the father is asking forgiveness of the son, this attunement idea is critical, right? It's like I've got so many examples of how I've hurt my kids, and I've had to go back and ask for apology. But like, let's just go to the yelling in Walmart, you know, generic anecdote, right?
Mm-hmm.
No one else has done that but me, I know. But
it's Target for me, but it's fine. Yeah.
Here's what it's like, the forgiveness part with that. Start with this. Hey, buddy, when I yelled at you in Walmart earlier today, what was that like for you?
Mm-hmm.
I'm asking a question where I'm working to see him, to feel with him.
Mm-hmm.
You know, what was that like for you? It's really embarrassing, Dad, and really scary. Whew. Then the response, I'm willing to feel with you, right? You open yourself to feel what you feel. Buddy, I feel so much guilt and so much sadness that I did that to you. And that wasn't about you. Like the way I responded wasn't about you. That was about me. And I am so sorry. And I want to work to get better at that. You know? And I want to ask you to forgive me, you know. And it's okay if they, you know, like you said, it's like if they're not ready to at that moment or whatever, I want to ask you to forgive me. Now, on the flip side of the coin, I will say these kids without frontal lobes, you know, we've got this saying in the heart work that we do that I'm not responsible for your feelings or your needs. That's even true of me and my wife. I'm not responsible for my wife's feelings and needs. She's a grown up. And the moment I'm taking responsibility, like it's my job, your well-being is my job. That's called codependency. That's unhealthy. Right. Flip it. My wife is not responsible for my feelings and needs. It's not her job or her role to make sure that I feel or never feel certain things. I'm a grown man. It is my job to ensure my feelings and needs are met in a healthy way. Okay. Now, that's not a call to indifference. I don't care what she feels. I don't care what she needs. She's a grown up. That's her job. Like that's a really unhealthy.
Yeah.
That needs some help too, right? I care deeply what my wife feels. I care deeply what she needs. It's just not my job. I'm not responsible, therefore, but I am able. I have the ability to respond when she feels something. Be curious with her, offer attunement, her to ask me for what she wants or needs with me. My willingness to say, yeah, I can help with that, or at times to say, no, I'm not in the spot, whatever, and vice versa, right? Cares about what I feel and need. None of that is true with kids. I am responsible for my kids' feelings. I'm responsible for my kids' needs. They don't have that frontal lobe like we talked about. They need mine. And I would actually push a little bit on the idea that if a kid is feeling detached or disconnected from me, I'm responsible for what I feel and what I need with that kid. I can go and take the time that I need. I'm immediately reassuring that child there is no risk. Like you kind of said that, you know, there is no risk of detachment or separation or abandonment emotionally, physically, spiritually from me. Buddy, I forgive you. Even if I got to still work through some stuff on my own off to the side, what they're hearing out of my lips is, I 100% forgive you. I love you. You're my son. We are connected. There's nothing. And then I might work through some stuff on my own. Fred Rogers talked about that in a similar sense. For whatever reason, we've always thought like we just got to speak like what, you know, it's inauthentic if you. He used to say when a kid would ask something like, you know, Dad, is, you know, am I safe? Are we in danger? Am I going to be okay? Well, an adult knows the world's not safe, that things are unpredictable, that they could die in a car crash, that we could be invaded by an army or bombed by a nuclear bomb, or people can fly airplanes into office buildings or whatever it is. The world's not safe. And I'm doing my kid a disservice if I don't say, well, son, we don't control everything and we're not safe and whatever. Like Fred Rogers, Mr. Rogers said, you never tell a kid that. You reassure that kid, you're safe. You're safe in our home. You're safe with me. You're safe in this country. I will take care of you. You are safe. That's what you tell a child, right? Because that brain without the frontal lobe is not ready and not complex enough to process and deal with. And you're putting him in a situation that feels unstable, insecure. You tell a kid they're safe. And honestly, are there exceptions to the rule? Are there outliers? Of course they are.
Yeah.
the kid is safe. You're going to take care of them. You're there for them, right? The same thing is true with the forgiveness and stuff. You're not treating them like an adult and how you relate with them. Now, you might need to say that to your wife. Do you forgive me? I'm working on it, and I'm committed to that process, and I'll get there. I promise you I'm going to get there. I just need some time. That's very appropriate with your wife. You're not responsible for her feelings and needs. You're responsible for your own. That's an authentic way. She's got a frontal lobe. You got a frontal lobe. I would say 100% of the time when the kid says, Dad, when are you going to forgive me? No, it happened. I forgave you when it happened, son. You don't got to worry about that with me. There's no risk of us being disconnected. There's no amount of time that needs to transpire. It's done. And you know in your head, you need to still work through forgiving that little, like you still got to go work through some stuff on your own. But you don't make him wear that or bear the weight of that or carry that anymore. He's going to go, am I safe in our home? And this, like, and you go, well, in the back of your head, we could be nuclear bombed, I guess, or somebody can break into our house and murder our family at night, I guess. But that's not what you say. These 0.001% things that, like you say, our son, you can go to bed at night with your head on your pillow, knowing you're going to wake up in the morning and we're going to be fine because I got you. I got you. I got us. Similar principle.
Yeah. No, I love that. I appreciate the challenge and receive it just as a way of, like, as we learn what relating to our kids looks like, because each kid is different, right? Like, you can't raise them all the same. You've got to adjust how you say what you say, but there are certain things, like you're saying, that we've got to be, like, core and stable and secure in, so that not only am I safe at home from nuclear disaster, tornadoes, shootings, all that, but, like, am I safe to fail with you?
Yes. I'm so glad
that's going to happen every day. And if they don't feel safe to fail, they'll start putting on that facade already and putting on the thing to say, like, no, I'm going to pretend like I have it all together. And I've said since we had a kid, it's like, the first time they make that big mistake, whatever it is, and have that big failure, I want them running to me to talk about it and not run from me because they're scared of my judgment or my punishment or whatever.
Yeah, I would say, how a board, if it's warped when you're working with wood, it's not enough just to flatten the board to where it's straight how it's supposed to be. The moment you take the weights off that just bring it back to the shape it's supposed to be, it curves back up again. You have to bend it the other way, the opposite direction. I was warped with weights to get it to be straight when you take the weights off, right? Same is true of this idea of failure. Like, if our idea of failure is warped and we've been punitive when our kids fail, for example, and we're like, okay, I want to correct that, and just go, you're safe to fail with me and it's okay to fail. Okay. That's like making the board straight. But the correction, I believe in parenting, to bend it the other way so that they're like structurally how they're supposed to be in life. Celebrate failure. Don't just say it's okay and you're safe to fail. When they try and they fail, to reward that. To go, you tried. You swung for the fences. You gave it your all. And it didn't work, or you didn't finish, or the grass had spots missing. It's like, son, do you have any idea how important that is in our educational process? We must be willing to try and willing to fail. And that is the number one way that we grow and learn and get better. And let's go get some ice cream. Because you tried and you failed. Let's get some ice cream.
And
then there's this other type of failure that's like, I chose not to try, or I chose not to do. That is not supposed to be anything punitive beyond natural consequences. So, like, for example, one of my sons has a hard time getting out of bed. And we've said, all right, here's the way you do this. We've trained him. Here's how you set an alarm across multiple devices. His little Alexa Echo Dot, actual alarm clock from like 1997 that you program. Here's all these ways that you can get up. By the way, if you're playing video games right before you go to bed and blue light, that's going to make it hard. If you're eating or drinking certain things before bed, that's going to make it hard to get to sleep. Rough night's sleep. We're bringing all that training and parenting to him, right? But at some level, we have to go, all right, you know what to do.
Yeah.
And we've got to let you do what you're going to do, and then experience the consequences of that. Great ones if you do it well, and if you choose not to apply these lessons, the consequences of getting hit with that. So we stopped waking them up for school. Now I'm not talking about second grade, okay? I'm talking about I'm talking about like as a seventh grader, an eighth grader, in high school. We don't get him up. It's like your job is to set your alarm and to wake up and to get ready and to work your morning routine so that you're ready to leave when we drive to school. And for a few times, he didn't get up and he got left and he slept till 11. School's going on. You only get so many misses.
Yeah.
And he eventually stumbles down there and it's like, you guys didn't wake me up? And it's like, no, buddy, you know what to do. We've taught you,
Yeah.
Well, I didn't sleep good and I didn't hear my alarm go off. Yeah, I know what that feels like. It's compassion, right? It's not like, it's like, oh, I totally know what that feels like. I've done that. Slept my alarm and like, sorry, buddy, that really sucks. Well, can you take me to school? No, I'm sorry, I got a meeting, but it's about 2 miles and you can walk, or call you an Uber and that's going to come out of your allowance, or be safe, whatever.
Yeah, right.
But I can take you to school in 15 minutes. I can't leave right now, and that gas money, is and the money that I would, that's going to come out. It's going to cost you $10 or $5. Right. And so he's feeling the natural consequence of I slept through my alarm, and I think that happened maybe 3 times before he was getting up real good. And it's like the failure of I didn't do what I know I'm supposed to do, or I didn't apply it. Well, rather than like doing these really weird, disconnected consequences. Now you've lost your phone for a week. Now you're grounded from video games. Now you get what has to do with sleeping through my alarm? They're disjointed. So it has to be the natural consequence of I sleep through my alarm. I got to walk to school no matter what the temperature is outside or if it's raining or not, and feel the pain of being late and whatever, paying money out of my account to pay for the gas because now Dad had to drive twice today instead of once or whatever it is. Right. And just letting those play out and being compassionate as they do. You don't have to become the jerk. You can just be like, oh, buddy, yes, this is what happens. That happens.
Yeah. That's good. That is good. Well, Jake, I really appreciate your time, your wisdom, just helping dads and parents in general feel better equipped and empowered to raise their kids in a way that's going to empower them towards adulthood, not just, jump through hoops and, okay, now you graduate and you're gone and figure it out, to actually, I love when you said that they don't have a prefrontal cortex, so they have to got to share ours. What a gift to be reminded that they don't have all that they need biologically, and it's our job to share what we have to serve them and care for them as they grow. So, man, I really appreciate you coming on.
You're welcome, my friend. Honor to be here, Dan. Love you so much and love what you're doing. Keep going.
Yeah, man. Sounds good. Appreciate it. Peace.
See ya.